Hi guys, welcome to my presentation on Palaestra for our class Kin 387, presented by Angel Madrano, which is me. Yeah, and let's get started. So a quick outline of our presentation will be talking first about a little bit about Palaestra, a little background information on it. Um, Also for some professional interview questions, the journal article, some strengths and concerns, and summary of Palaestra. So let's get started. So what is Palaestra? Palaestra is a quarterly journal article publication which provides valuable information in sports, physical education, and recreation involving individuals with disabilities. It's also peer-reviewed. So what's the purpose of this journal article, Palaestra? The purpose of this Palaestra is that it helps enlighten parents in all aspects of physical activity and also provides them a lot of information that can um, help them use to advocate for them and for their children and for their children's needs if they want to use it. Um, it helps increase knowledge based off of professionals working with children or adults with disabilities, and also helps adult readers learn the value of physical activity that it holds for their increased wellness. Some of the editors and editorial boards, the main editor-in-chief is Dr. Martin E. Block. Um, the first editor-in-chief of Palestra is David P. Beaver, and the first associate editor is Julian U. Stein, and our very own, the newest editorial board member of Palestra is Dr. Melissa Bittner. So how do you subscribe to Palestra? You can go onto this website, www.sagamorepublishing.com, and the price ranges from $404 to $37, and it all depends if you are a NAPEG member, if you're not a NAPEG member, if you want one copy, multiple copies, and you can see all the different prices over here on the screen. And the cheapest option you would have is a single copy for $37, but you do have to pay for shipping and handling, which is separate. So some of the affiliations that Palestra is affiliated with are the National Consortium of Physical Education for Individuals with Disabilities, the United States Paralympics, a division of the United States Olympic Committee, and the Education Committee of Professionals Associated with Therapeutic Horsemanship. So this is my we're gonna get into the interview um with Mr. Dr. Martin E. Block, the editor-in-chief for Palestra. And these are some of the questions I had for him. I have all my questions up here, but we're not gonna go through all six of them. I'm gonna be talking about the top three that stood out to me. So the very first one is what is your publishing process and peer review process of Palestra? I was really interested in how he goes on pre-reviewing and how he goes to edit these journal articles. So he answered, authors submit papers to me and I send the papers to reviewers with expertise in that topic. Reviewers are blind to the author's identity. When I receive reviews, I send them to authors to make revisions. I barely reject papers from our journal, and I'm proud that authors receive reviews within 30 days of sending me their papers. So that was really interesting how he breaks down that process, how he pre-reviews um, those submitted papers for the journal article. The next one I really found interesting is how he became the editor-in-chief of Palestra. Um, he responded to my question. He was like, the founder and first editor of Palestra was David Beaver. I had published several papers in Palestra, and he put me on the editorial board. When he wanted to retire, he asked me if I would take over as editor. That was back in 2011, and I've been an editor ever since. Then the very last question I found interesting is I asked him do you have any advice for those starting in adaptive physical education? And he responded by saying, as an AP specialist, you will have a unique knowledge of that you can share with parents, general education teachers, administrators, and youth sports programs. Help you become an advocate to help open doors for children with disabilities. Unlike parents and special education teachers, you speak to PE teachers, coaches as colleagues, and can help them change their attitude and open a program to children with disabilities. And I thought this was really his response was really what Palaestra is all about: being an advocate, being a voice for our students with disabilities, and being their voice and helping them with resources to help them be the best athletes they can. And I thought that was a really great answer and a very, very amazing thing we could do as AP teachers. Some of these strengths and concerns I had about Palaestra are that the strength would be it's very APE informative. It has tremendous amounts of journal articles with a bunch of information on any topic of disabilities. It has a lot of information about how you can go about certain things, has a lot of resources you could use around your area, and it helps parents and guardians and students. They can also read these articles themselves, um, to just be informed about everything that's going on around them, researches that are going around the world, and yeah, that's a very good, very great article for advocating. Some of the concerns I had was just the access of it could be a little hard for some people to find, and the price could be on the pricier side. Um, so maybe find a way to maybe get a single copy or get some um, scholarships through a school or have a school provide the journal article for parents would be very cool to see. So let's talk about the journal article I chose. I chose the journal article titled Autism Spectrum Disorder, Volume 34, Number 2, published in 2020. Some of the key topics they talked about um, was all about the autism spectrum disorder, and they talked about how to do activities that help you be physically active and reduce stress at home. So you could read a bunch of stuff about that and apply it to yourself at home. Parents could use it for their students. Students could read it and do it and apply it to themselves. And another thing they talked about, which I found was really interesting, was they were talking about adaptive physical activity of autism spectrum disorder in China from a research study that they did back in 1992 to 2019, which was amazing to see that they were able to find this research. They reviewed it. They saw how um, China was basically going about APE or just adaptive physical activity in general with autism spectrum disorder. And what they found was that there still needs a lot of work still needs to be done, a lot of advocations, a lot of more modifications, accommodations for these students. But I just found it interesting that they were talking about stuff that we're doing here in other countries, which I thought was really awesome to see that that installed into the journal article. Um, they also mentioned the physical fitness and fundamental motor skills performance in children with autism spectrum disorder attending a summer camp, summer day camp, sorry. It was a pilot study, and they just talked about how these children with autism did these different activities in these summer day camps, and they're researching their, excuse me, their performance. And I just thought that was really cool to see. As a parent, I would see this. I'm like, oh man, it's just something really interesting that you don't really get to see. It's like, oh, there's day camps for these kind of stuff. There's research in these day camps that we could be part of and learn about. So I just thought all these different topics, and they had so many more research studies installed into this one volume, volume 34. I just I was really amazing to see. And a quick summary about Palaestra. Um, so AP teachers can use, not some, I should have put a lot of the resources provided for their provided from Palaestra into their classrooms, because it is just some of the journal articles, the other volumes I saw were just so informative. But I really liked the one I chose just because it talked about autism in China and just different country, and just seeing that was like um, really interesting to see. But AP teachers can use Palaestra as a resource for parents, so they could recommend Palaestra for students to read, parents to read, guardians to read, to be more informed of how they could go about their needs and different resources around their area, how they can be a part of these research studies as well to help improve our adaptive physical activities. And I would definitely subscribe to Palestra. Um, and Palestra has a wide variety of resources that can be used as an AP teacher. I believe you can never stop learning and you can never be too informed. So this is a great way to just keep on learning about everything that's going around the world in your neighborhood, for what your students can do, will be a part of, and research studies that you can just read about and learn how they went about it and see how you can apply some of those methods, hopefully positive methods or things that worked into your teaching. So very great journal article. I really enjoyed reading about it. We see it posters all around the school, in our department. Some of the journal articles are posted on the wall. So finally getting to see what Palestra is all about was very interesting to see. And I definitely loved reading some of those journal articles. Yeah, thank you for listening. Don't hesitate to ask any questions. And these are some of the two approval emails I had for the journal article approval and the interview question approval. Yeah, thank you guys.